Hello everyone, my name is Random Gamer Riven and I am your host for this randomised gaming gameplay video. I'm going to give you an introduction here at the start of the video as we take a look at the first hour of the recently released Cozy Grove. This is a game that's very similar to Animal Crossing in that it's hard to describe the genre. It's basically, I suppose, like town building. And as the name would suggest, Cozy Grove sees you arriving in a rather ghostly grove that is haunted, and it's your job as a spirit scout to fix the various problems that the ghosts who are haunting the grove have and to send them off to wherever they're headed to. Now, before I say anything more, I should say that Cozy Grove is available now on Xbox, PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch and Steam. I should say it was developed by Spry and they also published it on PC, but we actually received a code from the console publishers, and the console publishers are the Quantanic Astrophysicist Guild, and I must say and let you know that they did kindly send us a PS4 code for us to look at the game. So this is the PlayStation 4 version, and although Astrophysicist Guilds have provided us with a key to actually look at the game, I'm still going to be able to give you an honest and open opinion of myself, but that's just to let you know we have received the PS4 code from the publishers. So you can see here we've already loaded up the start and we are building our community. So initially when you arrive in Cozy Grove, it is literally just a very, very small island. Now there are a set number of customization options available. The Spirit Scouts, which your character is, all seem to be female, so you get to basically decorate how your female character will look. And there's a selection of haircuts. There's not a huge amount of customization. I would have preferred a few more options, but there's a reasonable amount. One thing I did say is I really quite like the art style for this, but the character I think is the one thing I don't like that much, as I think it looks a bit too different from the rest of the game in terms of art style. It looks too close to the Animal Crossing characters as well. I think they've made it look too close to the Animal Crossing player character, and I think they needed to adapt it slightly more to their own design. Rather, to me, it looks too much like a copy of the way they've done the big head looks too much like a copy of the Animal Crossing character. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have slightly redesigned it to look a bit more different. But that's my only slight gripe about the character design. Other than that, the art is very beautifully drawn. It is wonderfully drawn. Has a very interesting pastel style to it. And there's a very interesting effect where the world is grey and sort of white unless you have light or you solve the problems of the various bears. So at the start, the island, or Cozy Grove as it's known, it's just a teeny little island. And as you basically ignite the embers of your flame friend, he will expand the island and you'll meet other ghosts. So I don't skip through the text too fast. I do go at a leisurely pace so you can at least read it. I was actually sort of reading aloud as I was doing this gameplay initially, although I'm not actually commentating live. I'm doing the commentating a little while after. I'm only going to do about commentary just to give you a basic rundown of the start of the game. Now, one other issue there is, and this is a note to the developers, they need to change the colour of the prompt when it's on the white sort of background areas. Often the X prompt blends in too much, and I show that a few times in this hour-long play. But it does feel that it just blends in a little too much, and it's not always clear what exactly you need to click on or what you can click on and pick up Now, this is very much similar to Animal Crossing. The only difference is you don't have a randomly generated village. Instead, you basically build up Cozy Grove and you meet the various residents as you go. The residents are all the same, and it appears the Grove always builds the same as well, unlike Animal Crossing, which has completely random residents and a completely random town for how your town looks. So Cozy Grove always seems the same as I've built it now on 2 different accounts, and it's building in the same manner. It doesn't change around of how it looks. But visually, it's a very nice game. This is a game that's meant to... Basically, you're meant to play for about an hour or 2 a day, and then you're meant to come back to it. The game is not one you can play through in one sitting. The game will actively slow down your progress, which is quite a nice thing. Same with Animal Crossing, you basically do one day to the next. So, in Cozy Grove, the aim is to solve the problems of the ghostly bears you encounter, and in return they give you spirit logs. You give the spirit logs to your flame here, and he then burns bright, and when he burns bright he then increases the size of the island. So there you go, you see he's actually generating colour in the area, because initially the Grove, the areas that basically don't have any life are like a dull white colour, as you see there. So here's the first bear. Is a Charlotte Pine, and she's the explorer. She's basically a guide to the Cozy Grove. And she basically gives you hints to where items are, because you're going to be looking for a lot of items. Now, I will say that the developers, I have been very impressed with what I played so far. So kudos to Spyra Fox and the Quantum Astrophysicist Guild. This is a very well-made title. While it is quite a slow-paced game, and not everyone's going to like this type of pace, I really enjoyed Animal Crossing, because it was when it came out back in the early 2000s, it was a very different style of game and a very different pace of game. I'd probably say it's sort of life or culture building, and it's, in terms of the genre, it's basically you build up a community, maybe community building or something. It's not like a big sim game where you build a massive city or whatever. You build up a small number of sort of people. You meet them, you interact with them, you build up the friendships. So each of the ghosts has a number of issues, and you need to basically get them to tell you their backstory and then heal their woes, basically. So Charlotte Pine's initially a bit sceptical of you being a spirit scout, because apparently there was another spirit scout here, and things didn't initially go so well. But you do get a lot of these nice arts work shown here, and these basically are for all the different characters, giving you their backstory. You basically have to earn those artworks, but I'm guessing they will tell you the story of each bear as you go along. I've only played up to about the 6th day on my main account, so I've only played the first day or 2. Now, I should say I'm playing the 1.6 version, and that patch came out earlier this week. If you're playing this a few months from now, I suspect this game's going to be heavily patched. It's looking to be quite successful, and they are addressing issues. So there have been some concerns. Initially the game was quite grindy and perhaps a little bit too slow paced with the opening day. I noticed myself playing the 1.5 version and actually playing the 1.6 version when I was doing this. They have extended the first day slightly. You can do more in the first day now than you could do when the game first came out. Because when I did the first day initially, I could only get to 4 bears, and in this run I actually got to basically to 5 bears, although I didn't actually meet the 5th bear. I will literally stay and play this for an hour, so I wanted you to get a feel for the game. Each of the bears that you meet does have different things, so this, see here, we're going to actually put in the spirit log, and this is going to build up the actual grove. So we'll get our 2nd bear. But you see that basically that's the main premise. You help the bear, they give you a spirit log, and then you then build up the grove. Now I will say visually this is really lovely. Very nice 2D art style. It's very comforting and warming as well. I think it does work quite well with the fact you have the contrast between the colour and the uncoloured areas of the grove. It's an interesting concept, and I think it works quite well. as it gives you a sense of like safe areas. You think like the areas with the groves being coloured feels like warm and cosy. You can actually colour the grove yourself by spreading the flame lights around. Eventually you'll start getting decorations to put around, and if you put torches down they light up the area, and you can basically light up the whole island if you want. So you can basically place decor how you want around. Initially you don't have much, but as you go you get more resources, so you can mine them, you can dig them up, you can just literally find them on the ground. You can also fish for fish and quite a few other activities. Some of them clear to be directly pinched out of Animal Crossing, I will say, but this does have enough of a feel not to be a direct clone of Animal Crossing. There are some nice things this does that Animal Crossing doesn't do, and vice versa. So I would see this game as a companion to Animal Crossing. So even if you played and loved Animal Crossing, I'd actually highly recommend still having a look at Cozy Grove. The music is also very relaxing and I'd say calming, slightly somber at times, but it does work very well. And as you'll see now, there are some weather effects. I've had rain. This does also do time of day, so depending when you play it, depends whether the island's going to be, or Cozy Grove's going to be in daylight or night. I've only played this sort of during the day and late at the evening when it was like the night time, but that's another nice touch. Again, like Animal Crossing, when you play it in the game depends on when you what time of day in the island is. As I mentioned, try not, if you're going to do this type of game, you shouldn't really be time travelling. I generally like to play these games as the developers intended, but I did notice most of the trophies had already been unlocked, and there's one for playing 90 days consecutively, and as this has only been out for a couple of weeks, I'm guessing some people have probably been time travelling a lot. But what you're supposed to do is basically play each day, get all the spirit logs that you can, and then basically the flame, once you've done that, the flame will tell you no one's got any more spirit logs today, and then you move on, basically wait till the next day to play. Or you can just travel around the island and just do subtasks. You can sell items, so we'll meet Mr. Kit in a minute, who you can buy and sell and trade items with. You can do fishing. As I said, there's mining. You can literally pick up shells off the beach. Initially, you didn't have much storage. In the 1.5 patch, you only had 4 items storage, which I think was a bit too small. That has now been patched out so that you start with a 16 storage space, so I'm glad they've patched that. The developers are definitely listening to some of the feedback they've had. As I mentioned, I do think they need to change the HUD when you're standing on the sort of white areas, because it's not that clear. Sometimes the HUD is not always clear what items you can pick up at present, especially with things like shells on the beach. There are sometimes you can walk up to something and think, can I pick that up? Sometimes the X prompt doesn't appear when you think it is, and sometimes you have to move around a bit, so that's slightly annoying. And it's a case of identifying what you can and can't pick up. So you see there's a little shovel hole, so once I build a shovel I can dig that up. At the minute I need a couple of branches, so just looking for them littered around. And you see there's a load of fish there. The fish spawn randomly like Animal Crossing. There is a number of them, and like Animal Crossing there's also a character who collects, similar to is it Blithers the owl? One of them collects the items and keeps a record of every item you've found, which is quite nice. And I think, as with Animal Crossing, the game changes what items you can find depending on the season, so it's definitely one you need to play throughout the whole year, which is a very nice touch. This is not a game you will be sitting and finishing in a 10-hour sitting, so to speak. This is one you do need to play over the course of a year. But it's one of these relaxing games that's just nice to play and just get into and enjoy. So this is Jeremy Gruffle, and he's going to build me a spade that I can use to dig up those potholes that I find. And those little things down below are imps, and basically you can feed imps and they will give you essence. But you can only feed them when they tell you they're hungry, and they'll show you which item they want to be fed. So yeah, I really like the art look. The music's really relaxing. I was really enjoying this sort of gameplay. I have heard a couple of people say it was quite grindy, was getting some of the items later on in the campaign. Some people saying it took quite a long time, which I feel, I haven't actually seen that myself, but I did notice they were rapidly, even when I was progressing to the 6th day, some of them are now requiring quite a lot of resources, which some that I thought this early on it doesn't need that, so that's an issue. But I think the developers again are taking that into account, and already the 1.6 patch has reduced the grind on some items, I've noticed, which is fair. This is not a game that really needs a grind because it's a game you're meant to play on a daily basis, so it doesn't need a grind as such. It more just needs daily tasks to do. Whereas like Animal Crossing, you'll randomly get a neighbour say, oh, can you fetch me something from the store, or sometimes they fall ill so you have to get them medicine. Other times they'll ask you to take a package to another neighbour. Just little sub-tasks like that are always good fun. I don't know if Cozy Grove has stuff like that. Each of the characters seems to have a very preset storyline, having played this on 2 accounts now, that they all have the same sort of quests, and they all seem to go do the quests in the same order. Although most quests are primarily around finding or forging certain items, so basically getting the resources to forge items. So if you're not a fan of fetch quests, you might not like this. But overall, I think this is a really nicely presented and well-made title. I don't think I need to say too much more. This is Mr. Kit the Shop. You see there, you can actually buy a fishing rod. I'm actually going to buy a fishing rod here in a second, but that's after I've spoken to my next bear, or in the seagull, as he actually is. We'll just say, of course, as always, if you like our videos, please do hit that like button, very much appreciated. And if you enjoy our content, please do hit the subscribe button and consider subscribing. Overall, I have really enjoyed what time I spent with Cozy Grove, looking at the first 6 days. It's definitely a very nice title, and if you're a fan of games like Animal Crossing, I'd certainly recommend this to pick up. I've been very impressed with how the presentation and graphics are, the sound, music, audio, everything's a really well put together title. One minor gripe I have is the initial load in once you start building up the island is quite slow, but I suppose that's getting the game ready, and as that's the only load, I don't have too many complaints. And it's not like it's going back into the old Spectrum cassette era, which I grew up in, where you literally were waiting 10-15 minutes for a game to load, or longer, or load each stage. So, but yeah, it does take a few minutes to load up once you start building up the island, as I think it's getting and preparing the island. But you see, as you go through the island, we do meet all the various bears. And each of them does have different tasks and objectives. And Captain Billweather here is the collector, but he doesn't give you the collector quest till, well, for me on the first time, the second day, I didn't actually get to the quest where he opens up his ability to collect items this time around. But here's another little, some of the nice little story artwork. I said the artwork really is very well presented. Everything about this game is just very well done. It's very professionally made. It really has been a bit of a joy to play. I was quite surprised. I was a little bit hesitant about looking at this because I thought, well, this is going to be like Animal Crossing, but what I actually got a slightly different game to Animal Crossing, and I've really been enjoying the time I spent with it. But I have only spent, as I said, I've only played up to about the 6th day so far, so I don't know how it develops going on. I've heard a few people say it largely kept the same format, which is quite good if you like the format, but you may get a little bit samey after a while, although that is a complaint you can level at pretty much every video game going. But it is a very well, nicely presented title. It is very reasonably priced. It ranges, it's basically, I think all the consoles, it's between about 11 to £13 basically here in the UK, depending on the system. I said it's on Xbox, it's on Nintendo Switch, it's on Sony PlayStation or Microsoft Xbox, Sony PlayStation, and it's on PC. It's available on Steam, and I assume it's available on some other Portal websites as well. So that's me chatting to the 20-minute mark. I think I'm going to wrap up there. I will say, do keep an eye out. As I said, just subscribe to the channel, etc. and thing a few minutes ago. If you enjoy this, do keep an eye out. We will probably cover more stuff like this in the future. But yes, thanks. I will say again, thanks to the Quantum Astrophysicist Guild for allowing us to take a look at this game on PlayStation 4. This is going to take me, so I'm basically going to play through for the first hour, doing all the various quests across the line, and you'll see the various mechanics. You'll also see me at the end of the video do the badge opening, because you basically unlock the trophies as like badges. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to let you watch me play the game and let you draw your own conclusions as to whether you think this is a game for you. It's a very nice title. I'll basically be doing all the various quests for the bears, looking for items, etc. over the remainder of this hour. But thank you all for watching. I've been your host for this randomised gaming video, Random Game Riven, and I'll leave you with the rest of this first full hour.
you